Lunchbox's review. Today we are discussing episode 3 of Wandavision, which is, for me, makes everything sort of tie together. I'm joined today by the usual suspects, Alex, Michelle, and Germ. And before we get to all of that, we want to announce that we are giving away a pair of Funko Pops, Wanda and Vision. Pam, pam, right there. You just have to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We will announce the winner at the very last episode of the season. So, anyway, before I keep mumbling, like I said, we're discussing episode 3, which is my favorite so far. No need to kind of do a recap of everything. We're just gonna go straight for it since we are full spoilers. So first thing we're gonna talk about is Dr. Nielsen and his pregnancy assessment of Wanda with describing the babies as a pair. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I'll go first because I feel like you already explained it. Like, that's what happened. So Dr. Nielsen came in to assess the pregnancy. And this is actually like a pretty standard thing for pregnancy. Like, I know a lot of people who do this, but you describe the size of the growing child in like food terms, typically fruit or vegetable terms. So in this case, the baby was a pear, PEAR shaped baby size. And they were 4 months in development, even though it had been, I think, about 12 hours. And then, of course, Germ so graciously pointed out, pear, PAIR, could also be something that he meant and or said. So it's kind of in reference to the eventual fact that there's twins. And I just think it's really interesting. The thing I want to point out as well, just in terms of how they handled her being suddenly pregnant, the gags that they did in terms of Wanda covering her stomach and like the way she would dress in the coat and she'd hold things in front of her is actually really reminiscent of that era of TV shows when the stars would get pregnant. That was exactly how they would handle those types of things. They would just like dress them in oversized clothes, have like them always visible pretty much from here down. Guys, I'm not pregnant, I swear. And I just thought that was kind of funny the way they did that. And it made sense for her trying to hide the sudden pregnancy. And it was a kind of cool callback. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, even the like it's always a typical TV trope when even the husband is kind of the breathing technique. You always see it. And usually it's meant for the husband to like kind of come down. It works better on the husband than the actual pregnant person. And they did the whole pregnancy, like Michelle said, very much like the TV of that era. So it was cool.
The aesthetics also changed. I don't know if it was mentioned, but it's like closer to Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, Three's Company, those sort of television shows that were popular in that era. And yeah, there's still a lot of like bumbling from Vision and the misunderstandings, and Wanda hiding a lot and trying to fool her friend or the visitor. What's her name? Geraldine? No.
So it has been announced by Kevin. I don't know how Feige. I honestly don't. Feige. Okay, I overthink his last name. It was confirmed by him that Geraldine is Monica. So for those who do not remember, Captain Marvel's best friend,
right,
her daughter. So that little girl that we saw with Captain Marvel's jacket and all that, that is Geraldine. That's it. It's confirmed. Don't know, like, I don't know the comics, so I don't really know like where she fits into all of this or what her role is. I know she's supposed to eventually have powers. Unclear if she has those at this point, but I think that's really interesting that we're actually seeing a character besides Wanda and Vision from like the greater MCU being shown again, apparently.
Yeah,
so
very cool.
Anyway, moving forward, during that exchange with the baby thing, we learned that the Dr. Nielsen said he was going to Bermuda, and then later on in the episode, when Vision was asking him, "Aren't you gonna? I guess you can still make it to Bermuda." He's like, "No one really gets out of this small town." which is kind of foreboding, I guess. What do you guys think about the going to Bermuda thing?
The exact quote: "Small towns so hard to ... escape."
Ooh.
That's the exact quote.
Yeah.
See, I'm more interested in the Bermuda part because we're kind of going to speculation here because Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle. We're all kind of expecting Mephisto to show up. So
if we want to go on like wild controversy or conspiracy, wild conspiracy theories, like this is a Bermuda Triangle conspiracy theory, but it was believed to be access to multiple dimensions, like in real life. Like that's one of the conspiracies around it. So that's why I found it really interesting that was where he was going, because again, it's kind of like showing us that the multiverse situation is a thing, because they're referencing something that's like real life conspiracy about a multiverse. So I just thought that was a fun little nugget for people who know anything about the Bermuda Triangle, which, some of us do.
Yeah, sure.
Lots of planes and boats go missing over there, just
because they end up in alternate realities. That is the theory. So one of the theories, but that is it. The other theory is that Atlantis is within the Bermuda Triangle, but I disagree with that. I think it's in Portugal.
Oh
no, I was thinking more of like in a Marvel sense where
no
we get to see Namor.
Real life Atlantis, there's theories that it's in the Bermuda Triangle, or it was one of the islands off of Portugal called the Azores that actually like went under the sea. So who knows, right? I'm just so excited. I just love it. Bermuda Triangle.
On the next episode of Lunchbox,
we talk about conspiracy theories, starting with the Bermuda Triangle.
I would be on board for that video.
Yeah, you'd be.
Please comment below if you would like a conspiracy theory video about the Bermuda Triangle or other things.
I'm always down for that.
I'm down for that too.
Yeah, I just want to say that like nothing would make me happier if like there was a whole Mephisto thing in this. It'd be so cool, but it would kind of clash with what's like been established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus far, where everything is sort of science grounded, science based. Like even like the Asgardians, they're not too mystical. It's not actual gods. They're like sort of like an alien race, and that humans just built these myths upon. Mephisto, it'd be really cool. It would make a lot of sense. I hope they don't do like a cop out where like, oh, they call him Mephisto because it's sort of like Mephisto, but it's not really the devil himself like it should be. But it does seem to be like Wanda is manipulating this reality in a Bermuda Triangle sort of way in West Point, to the point where it leaks out onto reality, because when you see Monica getting tossed out, she's still in her 70s garb. So whatever changes that Wanda makes will have lasting repercussions.
Can I add to this? Since we're on a tangent now.
Tangents are the best.
Yeah, so you guys know, like I don't typically like I'm not super gung-ho about like reading all the comics all the time, especially if I know the show is coming. Like I kind of don't want to ruin the surprise for myself. So I kind of want to just be delightfully surprised without having any knowledge of what could happen. So not knowing anything, I'm going to add on to what Alex kind of just said. In my conspiracy theory or my theory of what's going on in the show, like I don't know if you guys noticed in the very last scene when Geraldine gets spit back out somewhere, we don't know where it is, it looked like there was a military base, but I'm wondering if anyone else noticed that in the background, hopefully my eyes weren't just playing a trick on me, it looked like there was like a barrier, like some sort of energy barrier. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
So my theory is that I feel like someone is using Wanda's own powers against herself, that someone's controlling her to do a lot of the things, and she might find moments where she has control of her own powers, but for the most part, like we see her in the show, like she's just doing little things with her powers, like maybe like, I don't know, cooking up dinner. Like she's not using them for any grand purpose. And even in this episode, especially this episode, she has so little control over her powers because of the baby. Yet another thing that she hasn't been able to control. So that's, I'm just going to spit that out there. I think that there's someone, she's actually out in our universe somewhere and she's strapped down, being controlled.
I kind of agree with that. I think there are a few opposing forces trying to get, fighting for Wanda. And then a couple are super obvious, which is Sword, which I actually think are the ones just observing. Because maybe I think there's two other, players at play, which could be Mephisto and Agnes. But the craziest part about this, I'm gonna spitball some like crazy ass theories now, is that I think Dottie is Clea, who is just because we know all the other movies that are happening, and we know that Wanda is gonna be in Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. That Clea is Dottie, and Dottie is kind of with Doctor Strange. Clea is a sorceress, and maybe she's the other part of this that's going on. And when you also think about it, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, mom, just put it out there.
Look at that.
Ooh.
Oh,
Gotta think on that one. Yeah,
a lot of thinking.
While we're thinking of that, we go back to our normal conversation.
Yes.
We'll talk about
what actually happened.
So, as we all know, the second glitch happened, which it seems to me this is where I kind of know that Wanda is more aware of what's going on than we are led to believe, because it seems like everything. Sometimes, if Wanda doesn't get her way or she feels threatened, she just kind of rewinds everything and then just goes back like a few minutes, a few hours, or whatever she's done so far. What do you guys think about that?
I think there could be an I'm so annoying. I think there could be an opposing theory to that. And I think in the idea of whoever's controlling it, trying to keep Wanda calm, it actually could not be her rewinding it, but it could be anytime she is stressed or there's a spike in emotion, they rewind it in order to protect her.
Like a fail-safe, right?
Yeah, like just an
true,
alternate
true.
theory
that makes sense
of
too.
like, because when Vision started to question it, she didn't seem necessarily like fully up, like mad. Like she didn't say no. She didn't do anything like we saw so clearly with the beekeeper. It was just her being like unsure how to proceed. And I feel like even that kind of emotion could have caused whoever's in charge to be like, ooh, this is like not good territory. Let's just like get back to where we were. Alternate theory.
Oh, can I add to that theory? Okay. So like going back to what like I was saying that I noticed, and I saw that a lot of you agreed at the end of the episode where there's like that little shimmery barrier going up in the background. I wondered, what if she is like in the real world, she's like, and I don't know, she's just released all her power somehow, and there's just like, a zone of death. And they're trying to like contain it. And like maybe that might like fill in some of the blanks of Michelle's theory in saying that like, oh, anyone who noticed, who's like with her right now, noticed that there's like a spike in emotion or there's uncertainty, they would rewind the scene, that whatever scene she's in, to kind of like make things go back to normal. Yeah, that's my addition. But also going back on track, trying to keep us on track here. Yeah, I just remembered like her cutting into the wall and like why that could be happening. It just seemed like his brain just flopped out for a second and like didn't know what he was doing. So yeah, I wondered about that. What did you guys think of like
that seemed like a glitchy NPC
to
to
the
me.
Matrix.
Like that's what I was thinking.
But this is one of the things that Vision was noticing, which is why he brought up that there's something weird about this town, right?
Mm.
So yeah,
I think I think it reveals a lot about the people that are in there. Like Monica, we know from the comics that she's a good guy superhero, so she wouldn't be a Hydra agent going in there to continue the ruse. She would probably be going in there to just fix things or you know, help Wanda somehow. So the fact that Herb and what's her name, Agnes,
Agnes.
right, they were really apprehensive about her. It kind of shows that, like, hey, maybe Herb and Agnes, like, maybe those are the bad guys. Maybe they're continuing this ruse and keeping Wanda kind of her memories cloudy, and that's why Monica was ejected, because she played the wrong role.
Adding to that theory, I saw a little nugget when I was watching it. There's a scene where they show Dottie and her husband, and he is reading a newspaper. And
David
I don't know
Schwimmer?
if you caught this, but I forget what the full sentence was on the newspaper, but it was like hydration, da 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 da. When folded in the next scene, it just showed Hydra. So I think they're Hydra.
Nice.
Yeah,
Great observation.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, and I think that shows it. And to kind of go to what Jerm was saying about like the Shimmer and Monica / Geraldine getting ejected, it didn't look like a friendly reception for her.
True.
So I'm wondering if she just got ejected into a whole bunch of Hydra people, where she was actually Sword trying to get in there to like help, and she was like a secret agent, da 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 da. And now she's just like in a very bad place because she got ejected.
So now, going back on track again, we are gonna talk about the actual pregnancy and the birth of Wanda's twins. She gives birth to twins. For the comic fans, this is, well, it's not a surprise. We kind of knew that it was going to be the twins. Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Tommy and Billy. They
Tommy
kind
and
of
Billy.
manifested out of nowhere, and in the comics, it might not be spoilers. I don't know. I really don't think the show's going to do the same. But it was Mephisto pulling the strings of Wanda to create these babies, and Agatha. She brainwashed Wanda afterwards so that she wouldn't remember, because like the kids disappeared since they weren't real, and yeah. So later on, when she did remember that they were real and she lost those kids, she went crazy and killed some people. Blah blah blah.
A few people.
So, yeah. So that's like the inherent like threat of the show, that like, hey, if Wanda snaps, it's gonna be like a Thanos level like enemy that they have on their hands. Yeah, so gotta keep an eye on those kids.
What was Geraldine's whole deal there?
She was so calm. Like this is before like I really paid attention to who she was or what she was doing. I was so surprised when like Wanda's giving birth. Things are like exploding and going crazy. And Geraldine's like, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. Like those are her exact words. And then she's like, cool, let's just deliver a child. Also, like I guess that was a thing that people just knew how to do back in the day. Like, I'm not really confident, but she was like, yeah, we got this. Let's just like, children, let's go right on the floor here. So I thought that was really interesting. So immediately I'm like, okay, she's super sus, because like you're so calm about the fact that things are happening. And this woman who wasn't pregnant is pregnant and is having kids right now. So
clean babies too. They came out like just out of the shower.
Magical babies, not nearly as gory and disgusting as true childbirth. Like, shout out to Wanda for not shitting her pants, because that's a thing that happens in childbirth. I don't know if y'all knew that. I heard that recently.
Michelle, we could teach these boys a thing or two about what happens to the female body.
It's wild. It's gross. But yeah,
rewind.
Glitch. No. No.
No. That does not happen.
Yeah, that was an interesting just situation with all of the house starting to like go chaotic, and kind of to what Germ said, like Wanda having no control over her powers, which I feel like maybe in that time, in that exact moment when she's birthing kids, could be okay, because I feel
Yes.
like there's a lot going on. But every moment leading up to that, I wasn't on board with her powers going crazy, and I thought it was very interesting that it was.
Before that actually happened, we sort of went over it. The stork appeared, and I want to know what you guys thought the meaning of the stork was, because I think it's actually the very first appearance of Mephisto
Oh.
was the stork. Because if you noticed, Wanda, when you see this world and any magic that Wanda does, she was able to
Right.
do like no problem, right? But when she was trying to do something to the stork, nothing happened to it. So to me, I mean, I could be stupidly wrong, but I think that might have been the first appearance of Mephisto. What did you guys think?
May I challenge that idea a little bit?
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh.
So let's just pretend that, like, yeah, let's go with Lou's theory that it's Mephisto. What would you say then about how when Geraldine was walking into the baby's room, the stork was in there also, but right when she walked in and could see what's going on, the stork kind of camouflaged itself into the wall with the painted stork there. Why would the stork do that if it was Mephisto?
Geraldine probably knows. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say, because I was really trying to think about what the stork is or what it is. Anyways, I kind of was leading more to the side that it's going along the same lines, like her powers are on the fritz, she's pregnant, and that's making her powers go crazy. I thought it was just like a mental manifestation of her own anxiety at that moment, which would explain why her own powers don't really work on it. But at the same time, she's trying to hide from Geraldine that, number one, she's pregnant, and number two, there's just a friggin' stork walking around in her house. And so that's why the stork, at that point, she gained a little bit more control over her powers, and it like camouflaged into the wall. I don't know. That's my crazy theory.
Makes
I
sense.
have a theory about the stork, and it's very basic, but storks bring babies.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting that everything with the stork happened twice. So what I mean by that is she tried to poof it away twice. It came around one side of the couch, got like distracted, went around the other side of the couch, got distracted. It brought her two babies. That's my basic theory.
Wow.
I
like that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey.
Did you notice when she tried to like magic it, the stork away, it was just like a red poof, kind of like yeah. Didn't that remind anyone of like the Wizard of Oz, of like that poof of like the Grand Wizard? And
kind of
like
actually, yeah.
someone
Just
behind that, right? Yeah, that's what I thought of. But I don't know. I'm being nice because I don't want to say it's like, no, there's no way it's Mephisto, but I definitely don't think it's Mephisto. I think it's just a stork.
I think we want it to be more than it is, and it was just a funny stork egg.
I'm tampering my expectations. I like anything is like, oh, could that be Mephisto? It's like, yeah, it's not gonna be Mephisto. So that way, when he appears, I'll be like, yes, it was Mephisto.
Anyone want to add anything to that before we go to the Hydra commercial?
I'm good.
I have no idea what to think about this new commercial, except for a kind of out there deep cut that probably has nothing to do with it, which is if you watch, and I'm not going to take credit for this, like I actually read this somewhere, that if you watch Agents of Shield in the season where they were in the mainframe, Jerm, I don't know, I know you watch it, but I don't know if you got to that part with the mainframe.
Yeah.
There was Coulson was going nuts and had a conspiracy theory that Hydra was brainwashing everybody using soap. That's why Coulson made his own soap, because Hydra used their soap to brainwash people. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, make sense here, but I just thought that was a pretty cool connection.
Yeah, cool connection. Yeah, but other than that, other than what you just said, I had no special thoughts about it. I know that before we hit record, we were like, Alex brought up that every commercial has its own catchphrase and that the catchphrases might mean something, which I think might be worth exploring now.
I'm disappointed because this ruined our really awesome theory from last week.
What did this? What theory?
So it was the theory that really Alex put forward more than anything, of each of the commercials being like a hint to Wanda's past, and like with the Striker watch and then the Stark toaster, and this one's like another Hydra thing. And I know we had kind of talked about what could have been the next choice, and I was really looking forward to the Quicksilver vacuum. But I feel like this one, like maybe Alex like read more into it or like noticed more than I did, but it didn't fit what we thought, in my opinion, because it was like the Hydra soak, and then the tagline was "Find the Goddess Within," and I watched the commercial 3 times, and I didn't really find anything else in there. But I also don't know everything, haven't read the comics, so like it could be something I'm missing. So
I mean, it's kind of like an offshoot of last week's, where one struck her Hydra, and then this one just like straight up Hydra. I mean, it's still up in the air. We could still have like a Quicksilver blender or whatever, right? We just have to wait and see, because there's like some sort of like subtle hints there with each catchphrase. The first week was "Forget the past." I forgot the second week, or the second episode, and this episode was "Find the Goddess Within." So it could just be someone relaying messages to Wanda.
True.
Okay, yeah, that kind of
like
makes sense. Sorry,
her.
what was the catchphrase again, Michelle?
Find the Goddess Within.
Oh yeah, okay. No, it's like no, yeah, no. I was just gonna say, well, you're actually gonna be powerful like a goddess, and I'm like, all right, okay. sit down, Lou.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I did a quick Google because I just needed to know it was annoying me. The slogan for the second commercial was Strucker, he'll make time for you.
Oh, look at that.
So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
You know what I wanted to kind of rewatch, but never. I could just probably YouTube that later. You know, I can't remember if it was one of the older movies, maybe Civil War, like the first appearance of Scarlet Witch and Wanda and Quicksilver, right?
Yeah.
How they were in kind of prison. I was always wondering if there was like a TV there, and then maybe we could see bits and pieces of what was shown on the TV.
Interesting.
That could be interesting. I'll look it up later, but yeah.
I'm working through my MCU rewatch, so when I get there, I'll keep an eye out.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, let us know.
So,
I should do that. Yeah, that's good.
It's a thing. I'm on Thor: Dark World. This movie's taking me 3 days to finish. And then, just because I brought it up, I'm gonna say, so Thor: Dark World, they have the whole like convergence situation, and a lot of the like portals and like converging areas between the world look a little bit like the shimmer thingy that is the military base. I could just be drawing that conclusion because I'm literally watching, like I watch them simultaneously, but it's interesting because it's MCU. It's another kind of multiverse-ish, like alternate world situation, and it looks very, very similar. So,
Cool connection.
Now segueing to one unstable herb. He was like trimming the hedge off a concrete block without knowing it, which was crazy to see. It was really weird. Herb was kind of glitching out there.
Yep.
And he was a little gossipy with Agnes afterwards.
I'm sorry, I'm just like completely committed to my own conspiracy theory now. Like I think Wanda's partially in control of everything, and I just thought that all these glitches of people just not knowing what they're doing is because she's unable to control things outside of a certain area around her, if you will. Like that's just all I think. Call me stupid, whatever, but that's I can't think of anything else. I'm just Herb is just not knowing what he's doing because Wanda's not in control of her powers.
I mean, I like that we all have our own kind of theories on what's going on, which is actually really cool that all of us just agreeing on everything. This is, I guess, this is what makes the show cool. It is we have our own ideas what's going on, right?
Mhm.
To me, it just kind of harkens back to the Mephisto thing that I still am kind of clutching on,
Yeah.
where they're both kind of working for Mephisto. Well, especially Agnes, and Herb is just more like a bit player and just just do this shit and then whatever. So that was me, and then of course there's the Herb was trying to say something. We are all
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, now
Okay, so what do you think? Each of us try to complete the sentence. We
Oh.
are all what?
Oh gosh.
Based
Man, who
on
wants to go
your
first
own
on this?
conspiracies, like whatever. Based on whatever, what do you think he was trying to say?
I don't know, but I have a really dumb one. It's just we are all Hydra.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What if he was about to say we're dead?
Oh goddamn, that's
Dark.
Yeah, holy what?
We're all ghosts.
Alex?
Suddenly it's a horror
Sorry.
show, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. You never
Jeez.
know. No, but honestly, I'm thinking like because Vision quoted Shakespeare earlier in the episode, and he said, "All the world's a stage. All men and women are
just
merely
players.
actors.
Yeah.
Players are actors, right?" And it sort of feels like, oh, okay, maybe Herb and Agnes, maybe they're actors.
What if it's just we are all actors?
That
Yeah.
was Alex's. Yeah, I'm 100% exactly where you're at. That was what I
Actually-
thought as well.
well shit. If you
I
think
want them
about
to be
it,
dead.
Because no, not the dead thing, the actors thing, not the dead thing, the actors thing. 'Cause
Fine,
I was
fine.
thinking of the reference to Shakespeare. I was like,
Sure.
okay. And then we are all players is what I thought it was going to be.
well,
Or
that
like
kind of
he would be obvious and say actors, but same concept.
that sort of I guess kind of makes sense if you think about it. Captain America, when he first woke up, they put him in kind of a room that's made to look like that the time where he's from, and then even though those were shield agents, they were still acting a part to make sure that
Yeah.
Steve felt like he was still in the right time. So damn, yeah, actually that's kind of cool.
Jerm, what do you think the sentence is?
No, I literally did not think of anything until Alex said what he said, and I was like, oh yeah, actors. Like that's what I think now. Yeah, it was great.
We are all
or we're all mutants. Just to
Ooh.
bring all the mutants in. Mutants.
Mutants.
No, comma, more mutants. They're already
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Ugh.
something though that is kind of this wasn't in our little thing here, but it for some reason Vision doesn't seem like Vision to me. Like he's more like a bumbling idiot versus even in the times where it's almost serious, he seems like he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't have the I feel like the confidence of the real Vision, the one that just this could be Vision 2.0. I mean, they saved some of him.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
Or they just like created a version of Vision and they're like, we don't really know him, but we know he died, so he probably sucks. And
That's what I
just
think.
went with that.
Probably sucks.
That's what I think, because you know what, in an interview, again, because I have to do all like the news and stuff, so I keep reading tweets and like articles and stuff to add for our news and stuff. Paul Bettany said that there was a scrapped scene for Endgame where Shield was gathering all the like the broken pieces of equipment, like the machinery and all that and one of the things that Wanda saw was just like the mangled body of Vision.
Oh.
So maybe this has something to do with where they are now, and then the theory that this isn't the real Vision, this is another Vision.
I think it's interesting that Agnes and Herb, like Herb looked like he really wanted to tell Vision, and it was something completely separate from Wanda. So it made me wonder if like Vision is somehow alive and well or something, and Herb and Agnes are trying to like get a message to him or something. I don't know. That's just where my head just went when Lou said what he said.
Oh, I forgot. We forgot to mention that Monica was wearing a sword pendant, so it seems like she's part of Sword, and Sword deals with aliens. So maybe Herb was gonna say we're aliens. They're Skrulls.
No, okay. So
Oh!
the Marvel officially changed it to
Yeah.
sentient.
Sentient
Oh.
weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they can retcon the alien stuff now because it can just be sentient.
right on.
It could still be aliens
Okay.
because that's just a sentient, because it's sentient weapon something.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay, okay.
Anyone with powers would fall within that
Yeah.
realm.
So Shield would be there to kind of, I mean, Sword would be there to look over all the powered beings, and then what if Vision 2.0 is their creation and is looking over that kind of thing?
He's doing a terrible job then.
I know. This is bumbling Vision, man. Not
What
my
if he's a-
vision.
What if he's a Skrull?
Everyone's a Skrull now. That's just like the new theory. They're either a ghost or a Skrull. I'd be curious because we didn't talk about this at the start of it, but I know we all felt different ways about the show after the first 2 episodes, and I just want to like know how everyone's opinions changed if they did, or like how we're feeling now that we have the 3 episodes. Because Lou had pointed out that real reviewers or whatever got the 3 episodes initially, so the reviews were really high with this 3rd episode. So are we feeling the same way? Like, how's everyone feeling? If you like the show more or less, whatever.
For me, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm like in right now. Like the first 2 I sort of liked and disliked that, same time. I like that there was like the intrigue of something brewing underneath, and the 3rd episode kind of confirmed a few things, and then yeah, I'm all in.
I'll go next. I think I was kind of conditioned by, like, before I even started watching it, Lou had mentioned to all of us that 3 episodes were released for the people who were gonna critique it, and then 2 to the general public. And so I kind of knew that it was gonna be slow, but I mean, I already told you guys last week that I really, really enjoyed the episodes, regardless of the fact that we only got 2 of them, because I really feel like there's no other MCU show that does it with such whimsy, and I'm still seeing that whimsy being carried through from era to era, and the way that they film it. To be honest, that last scene where they switch from the 3x4 to the
16:9.
normal aspect ratio that we all know and love today, like I thought that was masterful. So
That was actually one of my favorite scenes.
yeah,
The star just goes like this, and then the letterbox goes down.
Yeah. I thought that was so like so masterfully done, and like just really, I'm still loving the show.
Yeah, I started enjoying the show more after we talked about it last week. Like just hearing you guys discuss it, just analyzing it like that. It's like, okay, I'm into this. I was excited to watch episode 3, and yeah, I got a lot more out of it because it's adding more mysteries, but along with the mysteries, you get more answers. Kind of like the way I don't know if anybody watched the show Lost back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they messed that up, but I don't think they're going to be messing this up, considering like Kevin Feige and everyone so far, they've got all the answers. They're not going to bring in polar bears for no reason. So yeah, no, I do like the show a lot better, but it's thanks to you guys.
Oh,
Yes. And
That-
Michelle?
Takes the wind out of my answer. I hate it. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking. My opinion hasn't truly changed versus last week. And last week I said I wouldn't watch it if we weren't reviewing it, and honestly, that still stands. The thing that makes me want to watch it is purely for the mystery unraveling and the conspiracies and just being silly with what I think about it. like the entertainment I'm getting is from my own chaos, if that makes sense, of me trying to figure it out. I haven't really watched it to enjoy it for what it is. I've watched it to pick it apart. And I don't, like, besides when I was in school for literal film and that was what I had to do every day, that's not usually how I watch things. So I'm enjoying that aspect. I don't think I love the show still, but I'm enjoying nitpicking the show. Because there's a lot, if you want to read into it, there's so much to read into. And I think that level is really fun, that there is, you know, these little nuggets that could mean something, could not mean anything, could come to nothing, but it's fun to kind of spend time thinking about it, especially when we're in lockdown again and got nothing but time to think.
For sure. Yeah. And that is all we have for this week's review of WandaVision.
I am joined again by Jermaine, Michelle, and Alex. And remember, we have a giveaway, a pair of Funko Pops, WandaVision. Like, subscribe, and comment on this video or any video, and then gives you more chances to win. So with that, our social medias are down below, and we'll see you next week.